My name is Alane Friend, and it just sometimes feels like it's going to kill me to make a decision. Can you relate? It's so exhausting. And the truth is that if you're highly sensitive, you have a more responsive and reactive brain, and you make your decisions more carefully. Now, remember, the research is that we have found, they, not me, I'm no scientist, I'm a clinician. So, I'm just here as your coach consultant. I'm a psychotherapist, but I'm not a therapist when I'm on YouTube or Instagram or anywhere like that. I'm just up here sharing my story. And what I said this morning is I woke up at 5:45. I'm going to go back to the 100 species in a minute. I woke up at 5:45, which is pretty typical for me. And I think, oh, should I get up and send that email, or should I lay here and rest more? Because I know yesterday was exhausting and it was so hot and I really need to rest. Oh, but maybe I should do that. So finally, by 7:25, I was ready to send the email. I did decide to get up and do it, but I did a little hack that I want to invite you to consider. It's one of my favorite ones. I do have my phone in my room, but I have it all the way locked down so that it's no internet access, no text, phone, nothing can come into my phone when I'm in bed. So you can call me and text me at all hours of the night. It will not disturb me. And my phone number is public. So please don't harass my phone number. But don't worry, if you need to reach out to me, you totally can, because I take care of myself. And that's one decision that I've made to protect my life as a highly sensitive person, my responsive reactive brain. I would love to hear one decision you've made. Throw it in the comments or the chat, because we can share these things. If you've made one decision in your life that takes better care of you, tell us what it is. Please, I need your advice. I know we all do, right? So anyway, what I did was I picked up my phone and I opened the Gmail app and I put compose, and you don't have to have internet to do that. And I voice talked the email that I ended up sending early this morning. And I'll be sure wherever we post this that we put the content of that email so that you can read it. I had therapy this morning, and my therapist gets my emails. We decided that would be helpful to her to understand all the insanity of my life. And she's like, God, I'm worried about you. I said, don't worry, Gail. That's just how I live my life. So over 100 species have been studied and found the same thing in all of them. We think it might be in every species, which is that there are two ways our brains work, two strategies in the world. And the first strategy is ours, highly sensitive people one, that we're more reflective, responsive, sensitive, and careful about our decisions. That's that deep processing. And the way they worded it, the scientist said, make your decision once and do it right. And then the majority of over 100 species in the world are go for it. If you get it wrong, no problem. You can do it again later. So where do you find yourself not having that go for it attitude and that go for it way of brain functioning? So for me, it's when to get out of bed. How do I balance, the rest and blah, 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 blah. I don't even want to go into that whole thing. There's so many places. And what I wanted to do today was to offer some ideas. I've been studying up on this whole decision fatigue because I'm fascinated. How can we deep processors work with decision fatigue? And part of the fatigue for us, for highly sensitive people, I think, comes from the fact that we think so deeply about each decision. You know what I mean? And if you think so deeply about every single decision, that for sure could wear you out. Can anybody relate? Tell me in the chat or the comments if you relate, or if you have a thought about this, because truthfully, the more you share and about your own experience, the more you help other people. Well, it just so happens that if you're highly sensitive and you have a more reactive brain, you are more equipped to manage decision fatigue. You have better skills at it. I know you don't believe me. But you truly do. So here's how it works. Remember, I said the first strategy is do it once and do it right. That's the way we need to make decisions. I already told you, for those of you who just signed on, that I've made a decision that my phone is in my room because I might need to do like an insight timer app in the middle of the night, or I might like to listen to my book. I only listen to fiction, and it has to be like a really chill reader. I listen to it at 80% speed, just to tell you my decisions around this. If I listen to fiction at night, I don't read with my eyes because my eyes need to be closed in order for me to start to relax. And so my phone's there, but it's on airplane mode, sleep mode, and do not disturb. And nobody's getting into me via my phone. I'm not interacting with the outside world. And if just in case you're curious, my Insight Timer sleep guided meditations, I have them downloaded, so I don't have to have the internet on to access them at all. So that's one big decision that I've made. I do it the same way all the time. Well, I thought a lot about it. Yes, it took me a long time to get to that place. But the thing is, we can do that about lots of areas of our lives. So here's an example. I bet everyone here 40 and older has heard of making a family dinner plan where certain days of the week you always have the same meal. Like that your mom did it or you did it when you were raising kids. You've heard of this, right? Taco Tuesdays, fish on Fridays. I grew up in a Catholic family, so that one's just kind of a given. Pasta Monday, pizza Friday, these kinds of things. Once you make a decision like that, and some families had it every single night, you knew what you were going to have. I mean, wow. I wish I raised my kid that way. Stop making decisions about meals. Not only that, you could also only use the same ingredients. And then you have one day a week where you plan to have more time in your life and you decide to experiment with meals. Another thing for parents is that, on Wednesday night, I made dinner from about the age of 9 until truly I was just too busy with my own jobs to do it. And I made the same damn meal every night, hamburger and macaroni. And it was good too. It had cheese in it. I'm sure American cheese and mustard and Worcestershire and ketchup and brown sugar. I mean, you can't go wrong with ground beef and, So what if you didn't have to make a lot of decisions around food? Another way you could do food decision-making hacking is to cook one thing on the weekend, like Sundays. Make a huge pot of soup and use it for lunch. I mean, we're going into one of the hottest summers in history, so maybe not soup, but you make a big batch of something and that's what you have for lunch every day. And you just keep doing that same thing until you're sick of it. So someone on Instagram says, a lot of times I think my past trauma gets in my way of decision-making. Absolutely. That is so true for many of us. Having a trauma history is something that causes our brains to be more on, alert, or maybe I don't want to say alert. Maybe I want to say kind of a vigilance, right? And so if you have not done some pretty active work on healing your trauma, please do. And please do it with a licensed, trained mental health provider. And not all therapists are trauma experts, but there are amazing advances. There are amazing advances in trauma healing right now. New science, new treatment techniques. So do your research and go. That's not the topic for today, but I want to just acknowledge I have post-traumatic stress disorder, and I have had a lot of trauma in my life. And, one giant event that got me the diagnosis, but probably plenty from even before that. And so trauma is always going to be a part of my story, and I'm always going to be busy in the brain and maybe a little over alert. I'm highly sensitive and trauma, double whammy there. So for sure, I get tired easily and I find it difficult to make those decisions. That's why we've got to systematize it. All right. What's another area? So one technique that I'm going to be talking about, we're having a big masterclass on this on Friday, and I hope to see you all there. If you're a member, don't register. If you're a member of Are You Highly Sensitive, that's our online community for highly sensitive people and parents raising sensitive kids. Do not register. It's just part of your membership. You'll be getting the Zoom link. If you need to register, we'll put the link in all the different areas of comments. And on the live, we can't put it up until after the live, but you can go in any of my posts on Instagram and put in the word decide, and we'll send you the link. No problem. Okay. So another thing that I like to do is to figure out what is the question I need to ask, right? To make decisions easier. So an example of that is if I need to be able to figure out whether, I've had a lot of company lately. I've had 2 loads of dirty sheets that need to be laundered. Now, this is the HSP brain. I'm just going to show you in action how it works. Okay, when there's heat, it's not so good to run your machines and use PG&E. PG&E charges more. That's, the California Power Company. The power company charges more if you use power during prime time. When is that? Oh, maybe I should look that up. And I don't really want my sheets. They're organic cotton and they're flannel, and the edges, especially the pillowcases, get all crunchy and wrinkled up if I leave them sitting in the dryer all the way past drying, the end of the drying. So I don't really want them to either sit in the washing machine wet and gather wrinkles. I don't want them to sit in the dryer like overnight or for a few hours while I'm out doing something. Oh my gosh, when am I going to do it? How can I make getting those sheets off my bedroom floor easier? All right, here it is. Just as a little example, I'm going to decide one time for the rest of my life, that when there's a load that needs to be done, I'm going to put it in the washing machine at night before I go to bed. I'm going to put the soap in and the vinegar and the baking soda, and I'll just put a little pitch. I don't get any money for this, but I only use those washing machine sheets anymore. I'm never buying a large, thick, non-compostable, non-recyclable plastic bottle of laundry detergent again. And they work amazing. You can email me. I'll tell you what brand I use. I can't tell you, it's amazing. So, I want to tell you I'm going to take a little digression before I finish my sheets and say, I will answer your questions. If you have a question and that you would like to ask, you can, on Instagram, you can put it in the Q&A or the comments. And on Zoom, you can put it in the chat. And on YouTube, I don't know if I can see those. You may have to ask me and I'll answer later if you're on YouTube. I just don't know how to do all this that well. I'm learning. Okay, so the sheets. I'm just going to decide from now on that I'm going to go ahead and set the whole load up, put the soap, the baking soda, the vinegar, set it on whichever temperature and style of load I want. So when I wake up in the morning, you already know I wake up very early. Well, some of you wake up way earlier than me, I'm sure, but I'm always up between 5:30 and 6. I'm awake. When I first get up, I'm just going to push go on the washing machine. Because doing laundry is easy if all you have to do is push the start button. See how that is? I don't have to remember to grab the sheets. Plus, I had them hidden under the bench where my hamper is. So they were kind of out of sight, out of mind. So I don't have to think about it. So guess what? The second load is in the wash right now, and I'll be throwing it in the dryer. I'll wait till this evening. So my sheets are done. Now, the question is, what can I do that will make the decision I have to make later easier? What can I do now that will ease my decisions for later? And I'm using food and sheet laundry as a very simple metaphor, but there are harder decisions. Would you like us to help you unpack one? Give us one. And I'm happy to try to address it. And maybe people will share in the comments what they think about it. Someone says, I ritualize certain blocks of time in my routine. Then I don't have to choose or decide what to do for certain repetitive parts of my day. 100%. Someone else says, I decided that after 8 p.m., I am off and I'm 90% successful. Very fantastic. Okay, so if we are deep processors, that the reason we are better, HSPs are better equipped to not suffer from decision fatigue is because we can make these careful decisions, these thoughtful decisions that will systematize, ritualize certain blocks of our lives. One of the books I read, she said that she decided on a Monday outfit. And she always wears denim and black on Monday. Now, those happen to be my 2 favorite clothing categories. So that really resonated with me. And this is a woman with young children. And so Monday morning, getting everybody ready to start the new week, when you're raising kids, especially in elementary school, when you're raising kids, and especially in elementary school, Monday morning just starts, just the week of hell, right? And so never having to decide again what to wear on Monday morning. And she's got variations. If it's hot, she wears jean shorts and a black t-shirt. If it's cold, she wears black jeans and a chambray or denim shirt, and in between something similar. So I like that idea as well. You may have noticed, if you follow me, I have a button unbuttoned from putting my microphone on. If you follow me, you know that I have about 6 shirts that I use on video. Period. I wondered about that. Should I always, as a woman, we're socialized that we should always be thinking about what we're wearing. I don't know what it is, but the way I grew up, I have had major drama over deciding what to wear every day of my life before I ritualized my clothing, long before I read this book. I also have a barn uniform. I do equine assisted coaching and psychotherapy, and I wear the same jeans and the same shirts. I wear everything exactly the same. It doesn't mean that I don't have dress up clothes or I don't want to be a fashionista sometimes. Everybody does now and then, or not everybody, but those who do. And so, I can change it up. But when I need my life to be easy, I have it easy. And I'm not going to lie, when I became an equine assisted psychotherapist, I think that was about 2002, something like that. My therapist helped me figure this out, because I didn't know how to be I'm a certain kind of office therapist. And just my whole life, I've either I like to wear long skirts or long split loose pants. And my favorite is long skirt with black tights. That's my therapist uniform, right? It has been for 30 years. That's in the office. All of a sudden, I'm going to see clients at the barn. Like, how do I be professional and a therapist? How do I put on that mantle? And you know what the solution was? So again, a therapist can really help you make these decisions, these big ones. I really recommend, or your sister or your 12-step sponsor. We decided together that I would buy a new pair of jeans, and that I would only wear new jeans when I saw therapy clients. Because, barn jeans, they get grungy after a while and torn up and stuff like that. So I still wore jeans, but I wore a new pair of jeans. Simple thing. I never had to decide again. It's a beautiful thing. Somebody says, when deciding what I want to get done in my day, I also consider the flow of my activity. For example, do something challenging followed by something easy, or sedentary mixed with short active tasks. I like that. What are your hacks? What are the rest of your hacks? And any questions? We have 9 minutes left. I'm not keeping you long today, but I really wanted to start this conversation with you. I think I got an email from a mom of probably an 8-year-old. I'm talking about sort of mother exhaustion and all the decisions that you make so consciously for your children. One big one I'm thinking of right now, because I have a young adult child and raising through the tween, teen, and young adult years. Should I intervene? How much should I intervene? Should I be concerned about sleep and food and vitamins? And sorry, I'm laughing because somebody on Instagram, even though you're high sensation seeking, you're okay with that. With my decisions about minimizing my fashion and food choices. Is that what you're asking about? Give me more detail. Yes, I work out. I am a high sensation seeker. And which battle do I choose today? Someone says, I am a high sensation seeker. It's another trait. It's separate from being highly sensitive. Yet the new research, well, not new, but a few years ago, a study came out saying that possibly as many as half of highly sensitive people are also high sensation seeking, which does make me think, maybe there is a correlation, because that's way more. Normally, high sensation seeking is only 20% of the population. But maybe all that observing and thinking and noticing and emotional reacting that we're doing makes us more intrigued about sensation seeking. So I high sensation seek in other ways. Like, one way is scheduling an Instagram and YouTube live when I've had a hard week. Just because I'm fascinated by this topic and I want to hear from you. And I think that maybe I can be helpful. by reframing what it means to be a deep processor. So to me, what it means is that we can do a better job of making the decisions that are more permanent. You can always change, right? Let me tell you something very important. I've been exploring this in myself a lot. And what it is that you can do this, and I highly recommend it, but we have to start small. Please don't make a big decision right now that is radically different than what you've been doing. Like, just try this idea of wearing the same thing on Mondays or Sundays or whatever, or creating a meal decision. Or like me, my new thing, just since reading this book, this in one of the books I was reading was the laundry idea of setting up the load the night before. My gosh, it's so good. I love it. It's so much less odious. Someone on Zoom says, I made a ritual of my morning tea and waking up slowly, allowing myself to be inactive and spacey while my brain wakes up. Yeah, I love that. And probably many of us have a morning hot drink ritual. And, is it working for you? That's something, take your deep processing brain and process a little bit. Is the way you're doing your morning ritual serving you the best that it can? Are you content with your morning ritual, or does it need a little tweak? I recently made a big decision. I didn't even realize it was part of this topic that I'm obsessed with, since I'm doing a 90-minute masterclass on Friday on it, that I keep all my boxes of tea in my pantry cabinet. It makes sense. And I'm one of those people who has like 12 choices of tea, even though I only drink 3 flavors of tea. And I moved the box of tea that I drink from every morning to a shelf near my tea kettle. What is that? What do you do? Mind blown? I can't believe it only took me like 40 years to do that. Maybe I'm exaggerating, maybe 30. I love it. I mean, I want steps, but it's just, like this person says, I'm waking up. It's a little slow, and I'd like to be able to make my tea easily. And it's amazing. I love my tea bags there. And the thing is, it's just one less decision. There are the big, hard decisions. So one of the things that highly sensitive people need to do is to design a life that honors your more reactive, more thinking, more processing, more noticing, and more feeling brain. So if you can take out the things that wear you down, then you have the capacity. You're more at optimal level of arousal. You have the ability to go into other decisions that you can't make ahead of time, because you've simplified your life. Someone on Instagram says that the morning routine is something that they struggle with a lot. And someone else says, I gotta love this, since we're talking about young adult children, my morning ritual is my mom waking me up when I don't want to. Yeah. Well, I said something to a young adult that I work with yesterday. And I said, get your ass out of the bed in the morning and do not come here again without a lunch. Like, the question, if it was my child, I would not make them a lunch, right? And at the same time, they're going to do a physical job and they fade and they can't stay. So what do I do about that? So I set a limit. We'll see what happens. So what do you need to do to make that routine? And the trick is, for this person who's struggling with their morning routine, and some people are, and if we did a poll of the generations or the decades, like, are you in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, your 60s, your 70s, or your 80s, or your 90s, probably at a certain point, your morning routine gets pretty dialed in, until there's a big crisis or trauma, or you have to take an unexpected trip or a planned trip, and it messes everything up. But for the most part, the older we get, the more we start to see what works. So I want to just honor that it's a process and you can take control of it. One thing I love is The Miracle Morning. I haven't talked about that in a while, and I haven't done it in a while, but that is a fabulous book. And it ended up on my Kindle accidentally in 2018. I probably downloaded it, not even know it was a free offer or something. And I was staying up all night, many, many nights in a row because I had a total knee replacement and I couldn't sleep for the pain. So I was reading a lot. I finished my novel. This was before I realized I had to do audiobooks to be able to rest my eyes, because I read a lot. And so I read that book. Just because it was there. It was the only thing I had on my Kindle. Everybody in the house was asleep. I was, stranded in the recliner in the living room with my leg up on 3 pillows. And it's an amazing book with 6 techniques, 6 things that you do every morning. And, the prescription is you do each of these 6 things for 10 minutes every morning, and you schedule an hour before you have to get moving on your day. And he also says, you don't have to do 10 minutes on every one. You make it your own. And I always say this to highly sensitive people, make it your own. But one thing that I hope everybody does in the morning is a morning stretch. And a morning stretch is where you pull your body against gravity. Every mammal does it several times a day, except humans. So if in the morning in bed, you don't have the urge to just stretch your body out and pull the fascia against itself, you could add that right now, change your life, because that's what your body needs. And many of us are not doing it. Okay. One more thing here, and then we're going to sign off. Be sure to, let's throw the link for Friday. Throw the link for Friday in the wherever. We'll put it up there. My assistant will put it in wherever you are. And so you can join us if you like. Remember, if you're a member of Are You Highly Sensitive, please do not register, because it's included in your membership. If you're not a member and you want to be a member, we'll throw that link up too. You can join the membership. It's $37 a month. People always think that it's nothing because it's so cheap. And it's not nothing. I'm giving hugely thoughtful and researched, and then a live Q&A every other Friday, basically first and third Friday. So you can join, and then the class is free. But just if you'd like to come to this class because this topic is interesting to you, members also get the recording. So even if you can't attend Friday morning, you'll get a recording. Okay. Someone says, from what you're advising, my morning routine would improve by having a ritual, a pre-made decision around what to eat after waking up with my tea, instead of letting too much time go by without eating and then having to rush off hungry. Oh my gosh. And someone replies, yes, I drink a protein drink because I can't face deciding what to eat or fixing something to eat. Oh my gosh. Yes, I love that. It is so true. And in fact, I'm glad, I guess you're good with your morning drink. I can't drink my caffeinated drink without something in my belly. So I'm not able to do that. So I have 2 things I eat in the morning. It's not always the exact same. And then I have a really special third treat when there's a ripe avocado. I have avocado toast instead of my other 2 things. But I have one of my 2 breakfasts the same every single morning. And I love not having to think about it. So what are you able to ritualize or systematize? So let's take the nitty-gritty details of decision-making out of our lives as highly sensitive people and just go for it right now. Choose 2 things. Remember, make them small. Start small. So I like that. Just maybe making a choice of 2 things. Oh, here's something someone said. They're making lunches if you're making lunches for kids or for adults. Actually, I think this was just anytime there's lunch making. If sandwiches are what are made for lunch, this one person put one drawer in the fridge, and like my fridge is like on this shelf are condiments, and in this drawer are cheeses and meats, and in this drawer are vegetables. She took one drawer and put everything for sandwich making: lettuce, mustard, mayo, lunch meat, everything for sandwich making in one drawer. I thought, one of my morning meals is oatmeal, and I do put a bit of fresh maple syrup in it, and also a little bit of milk. And so, maybe I'll take that lesson. I'm going to go change my refrigerator right now after I hang up with you, and I'm going to put the syrup and the milk on the same shelf. Just little things. That's what starting small is. So don't right now go from like, I don't know, whatever you're doing in your current life and trying to say, I'm going to wear the same clothes every Monday, every Tuesday, every Wednesday, every Thursday, every Friday. No, it's too much. You'll never do it. Small changes add up. I'll tell you one more. I made a decision a long time ago, a few years ago, before it was before my knee replacement. So it is a long time ago, maybe 2017, to do the sun salutation, a 15-minute yoga video. I used the Yoga with Adrienne 10-minute sun salutation on YouTube. I love Adrienne, Yoga with Adrienne. And I think she's funny and accessible. So I did that almost every day. I even got my family doing it with me, including my teenage son at the time, like 16-year-old son. And we all have the whole instruction memorized. And sometimes we say it with her. And so I was doing it, and it's amazing. I just did that 10 minutes, probably 4 or 5 times a week. And I got so much more flexible, but I'm not doing it now. So I thought, what if I just did one downward dog each day? Now, how do you remember? You remember by tagging it to something. Like, I'm going to downward dog, or one of the things I do every day while I'm making my tea, while the water's boiling, is countertop push-ups. So like, I do something with it. So that's another way to start a small change. So in conclusion, I hope to see you on Friday. I hope to see you in the Are You Highly Sensitive membership. And I really strongly believe, and I'm going to make this case much more strongly on Friday, that being a deep processor makes you better equipped to prevent decision fatigue. I know you feel tired and overwhelmed by decisions, and it doesn't have to be that way. Let's use your deep processing, noticing, and feeling brain to find decisions and make them that clear the air so you can do the important work you were born to do with your sensitive brain. I adore you, and I honor you and appreciate you so much. We can't do this without community. It's one of the highly sensitive person's 5 to thrive, right? Is to know others like you. You're my community, and I appreciate you, and I know you can do this. So take one small decision, systematize it, and get on with your day. I'll see you Friday. Bye now.